right. Hey, what's happening, Yaminah?
What's good? Can you hear me pretty good?
I hear you great. Everybody out there, thumbs up if you can hear us. See my little happy face, thumbs up. It's for those meetings, those Zoom meetings.
That's cute.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much, Yaminah, for joining us today for the Artist Talks. And again, everybody, my name is Brittany Monique Walker, and I'm subbing here for Natasha Calixte, who is out for the day, but she'll be back with us for the next Artist Talk. And Yaminah, tell us who you are. You are a wonderful choreographer, dancer, businesswoman, bi-coastal phenomenon. Tell us more about you. Meow.
Well, first I
And that
want to
face is
say,
looking cute, by the way. I just want to say that.
oh,
Meow.
I have to beat it up a little bit for y'all, to get it real clear. Um, well, thank you for having me. I do appreciate you guys for taking the time to interview me and talk about, the arts and the business. So first, I want to say thank you because I know Kumbe has done a lot for the community, and I'm happy that I've been a part of Kumbe for hella long. I don't know how long it's been. It's been over 5 years. It might be pushing 7. I don't know yet, but yeah. So you said it first. I am a entrepreneur. I'm a choreographer, professional dancer, and I'm a producer. I direct shows. I'm also a business consultant for artists. I'm also a talk show host. So I wear many hats.
Many. Yeah, you've been with Kumbe for a long time. Your face is on pictures in places that, ain't nobody else got no pictures at.
Right? I had to work to get in, trust me, because when I
I
first
feel
tried to
you.
give a kumbe, they said no, and then they turn around like maybe a year, maybe 6 to 7 months later, I finally got in. I was so excited.
What
So
do you think changed?
for me coming in, I think
Mm-hmm.
they had teachers already, and I wanted to teach a dance hall class, and
Um,
I don't think they had the audience for it yet, and so they also wanted me to. I was still fresh in New York, so they wanted me to, you know, do
build
some more
your.
things around the city. Yeah, and so
Mhm.
I had did some gig or something like that, and I came back. I'm like, look, you know what I mean? Can you guys bring me on now? Because
Right,
like
right,
I
right,
already had a resume, but in New York, it's like, what have you done in New York? You know what I mean?
right,
So it was
right.
that.
It kind of be
But
like that sometimes, huh?
it kind of be like that sometimes. I understand it.
Well, you know what? That kind of brings me to my first question for you. Tell us how you got started in the business and, how did that, you know, tell us about your journey. What inspired you to become a dancer? What brought you to New York? All that stuff.
Mm. Well, what inspired me to be a dancer? I would say I've always loved to dance. Like
Mhm.
I can't really put my finger on. I saw something and I said I wanted to dance, but like my dad's a musician, so I was always around arts and
Mhm.
music and dance. So I just loved to dance. I was in West African classes, just dancing, and I just love to dance. And I would say Janet Jackson, Paula Abdul are the ones who inspired me to want to take it to that professional, like as far as
Mm.
background dancing for artists. But I've always wanted to dance. I always liked productions. I was in talent shows. I was in Black Student Union dance crew. I was the captain of the Black Student Union dance crew at the second high school that I went to, and yeah, I just always loved Missy Elliott, watching music videos, and I would learn the dances from the music videos, and that would be my workout, and I would just all day record all these music videos like Aaliyah, MC Hammer. MC Hammer was my dude back in the day. I
What? Oh,
love,
oh,
you
oh,
know.
oh,
MC Hammer was my dude. I love me some MC Hammer. You know what I mean? And I liked music I wasn't supposed to be listening to. Like Two Live Crew and all of them. So yeah, I was really into that, and then just the entertainment part on television. I wanted to be on TV, dancing on TV. So
Yeah.
yeah, I would say that's what what inspired me to dance was the community. What inspired me to
Mm-hmm.
take it to the professional route, as far as music videos, I would say Janet Jackson, Paula Abdul, Michael Jackson. What inspired me to come to New York was I have family from New York. I have my West Indian family is from Brooklyn. Well, they're from Guyana, and then they moved to Brooklyn when they were kids, and then they went to LA. And so every time they would come and visit the family in LA, they would always come Brooklyn out, gold bags, nails, you know. So I used to be like, I want to go to New York. You know, they used to always talk about New York. You know, New York
New
sun. We did
York.
this, you know, all of that. And so I'd be like, oh, I want to go to New York. And then my ballet teacher, I started my career when I was 17 in the Hollywood game. And that's when I started auditioning for agents. I had a manager, you know, all these different things, trying to be a model, trying to be a video vixen. I was tapping at all those things. And so then I went away to college to San Francisco. And then I started dancing for Tony Tone. And shout out to Corey Action. He's the one that connected me with Dwayne Riggins, and we did a jazz festival. And so I was in college and I was dancing with them. We would travel, and I would come back to LA, and I would go back to San Francisco. And then when I finally graduated from SF State, I'm like, okay, I'm out of school, so I'm going to really go for it. I'm going to really like go for it hard. I went for it hard first. You know, I was 17, I was in school. I was going hard for like about 2 years. Then I left and went to San Francisco for 2 years. I was back and forth. Then I came back. And then for like 3 years, I went super hard and I worked with a lot of different artists and things like that. And then I was still training, even though I had graduated from school and everything. I was still in like jazz class, ballet class. And my teacher was telling me, Jennifer Nairn Smith, she was telling me, you know, you really should go to New York and try to dance for Alvin Ailey, because your work is not the same of what they're doing in LA. Everything was like video, and I was on my Afrocentric shit or stuff. I was on my modern and contemporary, and I was being very artistic, and I felt that in LA they didn't really understand me artistically. They just wanted me to shake my butt, you know what I mean? And so she was telling me, I feel like you're going to feel more appreciated in New York if you go to New York. And so I signed up for this 1 week program at Ailey at the extension. And so I came to New York for a week, and I stayed with my cousins in Flatbush. And I was going to Ailey. I did this whole certificate program thing, and I loved it. And I was like, I want to come back to this city. This is all this blackness, all this culture. I want to be here. So I went back to LA, and then I was working on a couple Disney projects and a couple other projects. And then I was like, you know what? I really want to train at Alvin Ailey and see if I can, you know, audition and become a part of the company, because I really feel like New York is it for me. So I did this whole thing where I raised all this money. I did a sponsor thing where, because I used to be a debutante, so I hit up my people who sponsored me when I was a debutante, and like people with like who work with my mom and my dad, hit up different people, and I got people to sponsor me, and that's how I got my plane ticket. And my dad's frat brother, my dad is a Q dog, so his frat brother was living in Jersey with his wife. Shout out to the Whites. And so they told me I can come stay with them for 4 months and train at Ailey. So I gave up my apartment, and for 9 months I saved my money, and then me and my cat went to New York. We stayed in Jersey in Inglewood Cliffs, and every day I was going to Ailey training in the school. So I didn't know. At first, I trained in the extension, and I had a friend of mine who was connected to Ailey, so he connected me with the manager at Ailey, so I can become a front desk, work at the front desk and get free classes. So that's what I did, and so I got in. My homeboy hooked me up, and I got in, and I started training in the school. And the one thing that was challenging is I had a bad injury before I left LA, because I used to dance with the crew called Jungle Jills, and we were wild. We were doing shows and being sexy and popping splits and headstands, and I pulled my groin like really, 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 really bad. And
Oh
I went through all
no.
this physical therapy to prepare me to go to New York. And so when I came to New York, I was training at Ailey. I didn't have my physical therapist. So
Mm-hmm.
I was training and I was in pain. So it was just a lot of stuff going on. And so
Mm-hmm.
I was there. And so when my 4 months was coming to an end, I was like, I'm not ready to go back yet. I'm not ready to go back to LA yet. Like, my agent was calling me. She's like, so when are you coming back? I know you said you're going to be gone for 4 months. Like, what's going on? And so I got a job. I got a teaching artist job. And I was like, and then I asked the people I was staying with if I could stay longer. And so they said, yeah. And I was like, I'm staying. I'm staying in New York. I don't know how
Wow.
long, but I'm just
Wow.
going to stay. And
Mm-hmm.
so as soon as I gave up I was teaching my dance hall classes. So I had a friend of mine sub my classes, and I was like, I'm just going to see what I can do in New York. And so I just kept training and kept training. And then it just every year just kept, growing. And I ended up getting
Yeah.
my own place. And so I was like, I'm here to stay, and let's see what happens. So
Mm-hmm.
that's how I that's how I started my career, and then that's how I got to New York.
Wow. That's amazing. First of all, I want to say you've been a hustler since day one.
Oh
I
yeah.
see you, girl. I see you working your connections. I mean, you got to teach people how to do that because that's a lot.
Oh
That's
yeah.
something that's something hard to teach right there. And I commend you
Yeah.
for working your program. That's really dope.
Yeah, it could be I had to learn to use your resources. Don't let your ego get in the way. You know what I mean? I've
Mm-hmm.
always been independent, and so I used to be like, I can do it myself. I can do it myself. But like, if you know somebody that can connect you, why not? You know what I mean? So that's what I did. So I'll definitely use your resources.
Word. Word.
You
Just shout
good?
out to everybody out there on, yeah, I can see there. Are you
There we go.
you stuttering a little bit. So
You got me now?
yeah.
We
Yeah,
back?
you there. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Just to update everybody who's just now tuning in, we're doing Artist Talk. I'm Brittany Monique Walker, subbing for Natasha Calixti, and we're talking with Yaminah Legohn, the extraordinary phenomenon from LA to now then to New York and now back to LA. She's a bi-coastal woman. She's doing her thizzle. And so speaking of hustling, speaking of hustling, so you kind of transitioned a little bit. You're not doing as much dancing as you used to,
Mhm.
but now you got your own company, you're doing shows, you're doing a lot of choreography, you're a
Mhm.
businesswoman. You know,
Yeah.
you've stepped out a little bit from the stage port, and you're the
Mhm.
now the creative genius behind a lot of different things. So tell me about that transition and why you decided to do it and how that's been going for you.
Um. Well, first I will say I will always be a performer. Performing is
Mm-hmm.
my first and foremost love. I will always be a performer. Um. But when I moved here and I was performing and I was doing festivals and things like that, it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't the same type of work that I was doing in LA. Like when you're in Hollywood and you're a dancer, like that work is strenuous, and you have to be a
Mm-hmm.
star 24/7.
Right, right.
And not saying that New York doesn't have good talent. New York has great talent. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I just think that artists in New York are more focused on being individualists.
Mm.
Artists in LA are trying to be stars. You know what I mean? So I was used to dancing with dancers who were hungry to be superstars. So sometimes I would feel like I wasn't dancing with people that match my energy. You know what I mean? And sometimes that became a little bit of a drag. On top of
Mm.
that, because I was booking artists and things like that, and I would dance with them, I still needed to direct them. And I was like, you know what? Let me pull myself off the picture so I can train dancers so they can do
Mm.
what I'm asking them to do. On
Mm-hmm.
top of that, I was dealing with a growing injury. So, like, sometimes I could walk and sometimes I couldn't walk. So it was really, really bad. So I told myself, you know what, I have a company, like I had auditioned dancers, I was working with different dancers, and different dancers came in, some came out, and the ones that
Yeah.
stuck with me like really understood like what I was asking for as far as my vision, you know what I mean? So I really felt like with New York, when you're from LA, I feel like you have more pressure because people already look at LA a certain type of way in New York. And I
What's
knew I
that
didn't
way? What's
come.
that way they look at LA folks? Why do they look at LA
They
folks?
think New Yorkers think that LA is all Hollywood and shit, and we fake and all of that. And I'd be like, but you ain't never been to LA. And a lot of people who talk that shit ain't never been to LA, or they only stay in the valley. You know what I mean? And I'm from Crenshaw Adams. I'm from the area
You
where they
better tell
talk
them.
about the movies like The Boys in the Hood, Menace to Society. I grew up around that time, and
Yeah.
a lot of people from that area don't go to Hollywood. You know what I mean? So I grew up in where it was very gang infested. You know what I mean? I
Right.
grew up during the Rodney King riots. I saw the police and the military marching down the street. You know what I mean? Sometimes we had to sit on the floor to eat our food because sometimes there would be drive-by shootings. So like I've lost some people in my family to gang violence. So my upbringing, like what this perception that New York has of LA is wrong. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times people who come to LA are not people who come to LA and they work in the industry, they are not from LA. A lot of them are from New York actually. And they get in this whole Hollywood mindset and then they become fake. And so then they give us a bad name, you know what I mean? But LA, real LA people, we bout it, and we don't like that. One thing I had to learn coming to New York is I like my space. You know what I mean? And New Yorkers are really in
Yeah.
your face and all of that. And
Yeah.
then from LA, if somebody is
That's a
invading
fight.
your space, it's a fight. You know what I
It's
mean?
a
So I've
fight.
had to like adjust moving to New York. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, I will beat your ass if you in my face. You know what I mean? So I had to adjust because my little
Yeah.
hood side would come out, you know what I mean? But that would be
Keeping
professional.
it real. Keeping it real.
Just keeping it real. And yeah, so I just felt that like the work ethic in New York is different than the work ethic in LA. Like especially specifically Hollywood because people are afraid to get blackballed or not work or anything like that. I think in New York people are really bold. So like even if you don't even have a high position, I think New Yorkers are very expressive, and
Yeah.
if they ain't messing with you, they would try to like tell all their friends and give you a bad name or something like that. And in
Right.
LA, it
Right.
don't work like that. It's like if you a boss, you a boss. You know what I mean? But in New York, it's like it's more like who you come under. Like so, when I moved here, people were like, "Who did you train under? Who's your mentor? Who's your this? Who's your that?" I'm like,
About
nobody.
who you know. Who you
Who
know.
you? Yeah, LA is more about who you know. New York is more about who knows you, and so that was like the difference I had to like adjust. And so because I was dealing with building my brand and I didn't want the dancers that were in my company, I didn't want them to depend on me performing with them all the time because like I wanted them to be their own entity. I wanted them to be their own look, and I really want to take the time to build that. So I
Right.
stopped performing with them as much. When in the beginning I performed a lot just to get attention, just to get the ball rolling. And then like when I started producing shows and when I started doing all that other stuff, I was like, look, you guys need to handle your business. I'll make an appearance, at the end or in the middle or whatever.
Right.
So yeah, so that transition, I would say it was challenging at times because I was dealing with an injury and I'm still dealing with an injury, but it's gotten better. It was a challenge, but at the same time, like if you want to run a business and if you're doing it yourself, you got to make sure that everything is on point. So I had to
Right.
sacrifice my performer to build my business, and that's just what I had to do. You know what I mean?
Word. Okay. So, we're in a particular time. We've been talking about COVID for umpteen months at this point, it feels like. So you're a businesswoman, you're a choreographer, your whole industry is online now. How has that been working for you and what are you doing?
Um, what I would say is before the pandemic, I was really focusing on work I could do that was not necessarily dance or choreography work that can actually help artists
Yeah.
to be better business people. So I've been doing
Excuse
a
me.
lot of business consulting, and I've been teaching workshops. One of my workshops is called How to Hustle Smart, and teaching people how to create multiple streams of income. So I've really been using
Mm-hmm.
this time to work virtually. I have been teaching classes online, but I've also been hosting a talk show called Make Lemonade. Shout out to Young Boss Media. I've been
All
working
right.
with these ladies talking about politics, what's going on in the Black community. So
Right.
that's been really good. And then I host my show Red Light Special Live, where I'm talking about sex and relationship tips and Black women in the industry and horoscopes and
Word.
astrology. So I get to interview artists that I know that don't get the attention that they should. So
Mm-hmm.
um, I've really been using this time to organize, strategize, save, hustle. I've been hustling as far as like my business consultant is concerned. We just the business just got a woman. I just got certified as a woman-owned business and as a Black-owned business. So I've been doing that kind of stuff too. Applying for grants. We received
Congratulations.
a couple grants. Thank you. We done a few
Yeah.
donations. So I've been on that tip. I'm the type of girl who works in silence. So I work in silence and then I'll make an announcement that this is what I'm doing. But
Word.
I've really been giving business tips to artists and small businesses. That's really what's been
Mm-hmm.
my focus. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and the dance classes is cool, but I feel like, I do miss teaching in the studio, because
Yeah, yeah.
teaching online could be a drag sometimes, but my people that come to my virtual classes were from my regular classes. So I have a
Okay.
relationship with them. So we
Yeah.
can vibe out a different kind of way. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's really what I've been. And then I'm in LA right now, helping my family. So I've been really focusing on spending time with my family because
That's great.
I've been in New York for 9 years, and I would see my family like once a year, and I would come out here for just a week, and I really would see them one time, and everything has been work, 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 work. So I've been
Mm-hmm.
taking this time to like just slow down, look at what I have, what have I not finished, what do I need to do,
Mm-hmm.
and just
Mm-hmm.
kind
Mm-hmm.
of be in my peace and be in my. I've been really on like cleansing with my spiritual journey. I've been going to the water,
Mm-hmm.
having conversations with Yaminah. Been really
Say
connecting
that.
with my ancestors. So that's really
Mm-hmm.
what I've been doing, like for myself, so I can manifest the things that I want to manifest. Um, and I'm just happy I'm not on that rat race right now. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So me and my team are working on like rebuilding our website and like the business stuff that people don't like to do, like the paperwork, yeah, I really just been on my spiritual journey, really on my self-care, doing the things that I was not doing because I will be honest, I wasn't taking the best care of myself.
Mm-hmm.
I was so focused on my brand and so focused on my business and being there for my artists and
Right.
just being there. And so I really feel like I lost part of myself because all of my energy went into the business. And so I'm kind of I'm redirecting my energy um and my time and my space because I'm moving on to the next level, and me being in LA and working my business in LA is also like, okay, I started in LA, I left, came back, and this is what I have to offer. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So since I've been home, I've reconnected with my agent. Well, we reconnected a couple years ago, but we reconnected. So, like, we're going to be working together. So, that's good. And the other thing is connecting with the community, with my business, and with my family as well. So, that's really what I've been doing with this pandemic is like the self-care, the building, the strategizing, the saving the money, the side hustle and rebuilding. That's really what I've been focusing on.
Very dope. Very dope. Let me just take a second to make sure that we're still good on the Zoom. Do you see me on Zoom?
Yes, I see you on Zoom. You kind
All
of
right,
froze
cool.
a little bit, but I see you.
Yeah, I was changing my Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So we got about 4 or 5 minutes left. So I got to decide between one or two questions, but the one that's, that I'm particularly passionate about is around the sexuality thing. So you do some great work around kind of giving sexuality, women of color in their sexuality a platform. We spoke earlier about becoming a video vixen. I remember when video vixen was a taboo topic, people were not trying to be called the video vixen.
Right.
It's essentially slut shaming. People were feeling like, that's not a career path you want to take. So
Right.
tell me a little bit about, the work that you're doing in that area.
Well, when I started in the game, it was like, the men were the ones that made the decision, like telling you how you're supposed to look, how you're supposed to dress, how you're supposed to dance, and in LA, they had a lot of issues with colorism, you know what I mean? So the light-skinned girls would get majority of the jobs, and then the dark-skinned girls would be looked at like, not in a positive light. And when dark-skinned girls would get jobs, they would be sexually exploited, you know what I mean? And then the light-skinned girls would be the pretty girl, you know what I mean? I'm a brown skinned girl and I've always had confidence, and my father and my mother instilled in me the fundamentals of knowing my beauty. So I didn't let it affect me. I was very aware that it was happening, but the fact that I was confident in myself, I was still able to work, you know what I mean? Because it was like, F you, you got a problem with my skin complexion, go over there, you basic boom boom.
Select words.
Select words. So when I moved to New York, I was like, when I started creating my burlesque show, I was like, I want to do what I was doing in LA, but put a more artsy storytelling on top of that. And I want to have the control of what I'm giving my audience. You know what I mean? And especially since I'm part of the dance hall community. Like, as females in dance hall, it's very sexy. It's very explicit. They show their bodies, and it's confidence. It's not looked at as a nasty thing. It's like, it's confidence. And so I feel that instead of a man controlling that narrative, sex sells, first of all. And people like sexy stuff. I don't care what anybody says. Everybody likes sexy stuff. Everybody likes seeing a woman that's confident. I just feel that a woman should be controlling that narrative instead of a man. You know what I mean? I don't think I need to be putting anything out to please a man all the time. I just want to put it out because this is how I feel. Like, even when Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion came out with WAP and people were dissing them, I'm like, look, I came up with Trina's and the Lil Kims and the Foxy Browns and the Charlie Brown. They were nastier. In my opinion, because what Cardi and Megan are talking about, I heard it already.
That's Disney.
You know what I mean? It's Disney. You know what I mean? They kind of learned from us. You know what I mean? We had Trina talk about, I'm having even
all
walk
kinds
period,
of things.
all kinds of things. You know what I mean? So like, but the men were really controlling that narrative. They were telling them, this is how you're supposed to be. And I feel like in today's time, women are having a little bit more control over what they want to say and what they want to do. You know what I mean? Not saying that men don't control things, but I feel like women are taking more initiative, and we have social media, so we can do a little bit more that we want to do. We want to do. And so even with my show, Red Light Special Night of Urban Burlesque, that's my work. So for me, it's like I can go out and do a Hollywood job. If you want me to wear this, if I'm comfortable with doing whatever, I'll do it. But I know that I have my own product where I have my own voice. I can say what I want to say. And then my artists that are a part of it, they can say what they want to say. You know what I mean? So it's not just me. It's our voice. Having a platform to talk about sex, have a platform to talk about the struggles of being a Black woman and what we got to do with our hair, or the struggles with, what we go through with our skin complexion, or what we go through with, whatever, even just being a woman. And I feel like what I do, every woman can relate. I do support and I promote Black women and women of color. I like to say Black women and women of color because I think women of color gets mixed up because it's two different lifestyles, it's two different struggles. You know what I mean? So
very specific.
Black women.
It's a very specific
it's
thing.
Very specific. I do it for Black women and women of color because I'm a Black woman, and I do it for all women. You know what I mean? So we can all relate on something. But since I'm a Black woman, because I've dealt with I've been sexually abused, I've been sexually harassed, being, having to be a video vixen and being cute and showing your ass and you 18 years old. And, I've had managers that work with me that would be like, I can't work with you anymore because you're too sexy and you need to do something sexual with me in order for me to work with.
Wow.
Because I've been through that, you know what I mean? I can really talk from my experience and shed light that a woman like me can create real art and be sexy at the same time. You know what I mean? And confident at the same time. You know what I mean? So, plus I'm a Scorpio, so I mean that's just
doing it hard all day.
We do, you know what I mean? So, yeah, and I like other women to feel empowered, and I'm always open to new ideas. And my team, I talk to my team. They tell me what they want to see in the next show. I talk to my audience. I'm like, what do you guys want to see in the next show? So when people go to my shows, I really listen to what my audience is saying. I really listen to what my dancers are saying, my people are saying, and then I put that in my work because it's really about the community. You know what I mean? I made the steps, but we got to do this together so we can have
this is our expression, right?
Yes.
I love it. I love it. All right. So we're just about out of time. I just want to ask you one quick question. Any artists that you want to shout out right now that people should be on the watch for, should check out? Yeah.
Yes. On the East Coast, I want y'all to look at Yancey Green. Yancey Green, he's a choreographer. He's also been a stylist and choreographer, Art of Legohn. He's doing his own thing. Yancey Green. Look out for Queen Ravenden. She's a beautiful artist. She's dope. She's an aerialist. I love her work. Rita Tuitt, she's like my little Janet Jackson. She's hitting it. Also, I like, there's another artist, I don't know her personally, but Royal G. She's pretty dope. Like, she's sickening. In LA, like, I like to shout out my people like Apollo Sadiq. He has a brand called Ghetto Stiletto. And now there's a lot of men dancing in heels now. But I knew the guys that were doing that in Hollywood before, you know what I mean? And they didn't get the attention that they didn't get the respect that they deserve. And they got made fun of, but they created a business out of it. My girl Kalila Jordan out there doing her thing, Shauna Pops out there doing her thing. I watch them. So I have a few different kind of artists that are pretty they do their thing. And then like as far as like visual artists, like Shayla Russell, she's one of our visual artists. She's a dope visual artist. And Asha Kwan, these are dope artists. So these are people that I look at. I like to watch. I've seen their growth. And I like to support my people. My people support me. I like to support my people. You know what I mean? So yeah, check them out.
All right. Well, how can people reach out to you if they're interested in learning a little bit more about what you do or where you're being and what you're offering? How can they follow you?
Well, y'all can follow me at Yaminah Legohn, YAMINAHLEGOHN. That's my Instagram. You can follow my company, Art of Legohn. That's ARTOFLEGOHN. What's good, hard hitting Harry? Woo,
you see it. Whoa, whoa.
Oh, that's family right there. That's my family. What's good? Also, you can go to YaminahLegohn.com, ArtofLegohn.com. And I put all the information up there. And services, I still teach my dance hall classes on Sunday, hip hop classes on Tuesdays. If you are interested or want to have a sit down consultation with me about your business, whatever you may, if you have questions about trademarks, if you have questions about like how can you start your website or things you need to start up your business, you can always contact me. You can email me at info@artelejean.com. Yeah, I do it all. So,
You really are.
check me
You are the
out.
Renaissance woman. What's up, Harry? How you doing?
Hey.
Congratulations, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Oh.
So, and you guys can catch up Make Lemonade on Tuesdays. I host Make Lemonade on Tuesdays at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And Red Light Special Live, I host that on Thursdays nights at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And if you're interested to be on the show, you can holler at me and let me know about your business, and we can talk and possibly get you on the show. So, yeah.
Word. Thank you so much, Yaminah, and everybody who watched on Instagram and participated and chimed in. This will be rebroadcasted again on YouTube and probably on Facebook. Check her out. And thank you again so much for joining us. Yaminah, you're dope. I really appreciate all the work that you do. I appreciate your development, your growth, your outward process. You say you're internal and you don't say nothing too much, but I see you. I see you, girl. I see you.
Thank
All
you,
right,
girl.
y'all. We out here.
All right. Ciao.
Peace.